Hey everyone, and welcome to the Year of the Man Summit 2023. This is the annual summit for men to help improve their mental health and help them become better fathers, spouses, leaders, and men. I created this as a free summit to help men. I saw that men weren't getting a lot of support when it came to mental health. So I started it last year, asked 7 of my creator friends if they could speak for men, give them a lesson. And this year I did the same thing again, 7 different speakers, 7 different days. We've got powerful coaches, people who have lived through so many different experiences here to teach you for free, unless you want to buy VIP and talk to them after, take a extra of their time to teach you something to help you improve your life. So I'm so grateful for these speakers. I'm grateful for you guys for showing up, for really doing the work. And tonight we are super blessed to have Jason Floyd Wood. I've gotten to know him personally over the last year. He went on my podcast. He had way more followers than me, and I totally didn't deserve to have him on my podcast, but he loved the mission and supported it. And now here he is again. He is a veteran PTSD survivor, depression survivor. He's gone through so much, and he's also an extreme athlete. And his talk tonight is going to be about the importance of resilience and how that has helped guide him through all of these endeavors in his life and these hardships. And he's going to teach you guys tonight how resilience can help you out. So if you guys will help me in welcoming Jason tonight, and I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, Elise. I really appreciate this. When you asked me, I was humbled and honored to come on and get an opportunity to speak to men. As you know, mental health and men's health is a passion of mine. And so you reaching out to do this has been something that I'm very excited about. Giving us the opportunity to get together as like-minded individuals with a growth mindset is something that I'll talk about later this evening. But when you surround yourself with the right people with that kind of mindset, you tend to find yourself in situations where you're growing and not regressing. So that's what you're doing is just amazing. And I think I echo everybody in the chat by saying thank you so much for putting this together and allowing us to come on here and do this. So when Elise reached out to me, she's like, hey, you want to talk? It's like, sure. And then it was, well, what about? And I was like, oh, well, I could talk about a lot of different things, I guess. I could either talk about, relationships and, single life and, or kind of, I'm a single father as well. And I could talk about being a single dad and the challenges and everything that comes along with that. But the one word that kept just resonating in my mind, and one thing that I feel like I've just got so much life experience in, just, from the moment I was born really to today is resilience. And it's everything from witnessing the resilient people around me to having to build the resilience myself. And so that's primarily the reason I chose this topic. And the other reason, and it really, for men out there specifically, the thing that I'm noticing as we, live this life, it's a hard life. It doesn't get easier. It doesn't get, obstacles don't just magically go away. We have to be able to overcome those. So resilience plays such a huge role in all of our lives. No matter if you're a man or woman, a child, plays such a huge role. But for men specifically, what I really hate to see in a lot of cases, and the reason why I'm so passionate about this topic is you'll hear a man say, just working a job, 8-hour job, not 10-hour job, it's just hard. And going to the gym on top of that is hard. Eating healthy is hard. Being a present father or coaching or do, my kids in soccer, all this kind of stuff while trying to do all this other stuff, it's hard. Everything is hard. But when you do a deeper dive into their lives and you look at what we're really doing on a day-to-day basis, most of the guys I work with, and especially when you look in the fitness arena and when I'm kind of training to do an event, it's like, hey, just journal 1 week of your life and what you do. I just want to hear it. And most of it ends up being, I wake up just in time to get dressed and go to work. And then I go to work, I work my 8 hours, I come home, I sit on the couch, I watch Netflix, I play video games. If I'm not doing that, I go to the bar or I go hang out with friends. And what I'd much rather be hearing is, hey, I wake up a couple hours earlier than I need to go to the gym and get physically fit and work on my physical body. And then I go to work. And then when I come home from work, I spend that time being present with my daughter, my son, my loved one, my partner, whoever it is. Or if it's not that, you're bettering yourself through reading or doing different kinds of research on things you want to be able to do with your life. It's those kind of things that are going to grow us, and those kind of things are going to help us be more resilient as we grow through life. And so I'm going to talk a lot about the 5 things that I view as bedrocks to being able to achieve resilience. And when I say achieve resilience, what I want to just knock on wood really hard on here is, you don't achieve resilience and then put it on the shelf and say, I'm done, I've got it, I'm resilient. A resilient person works at it all the time. Like this is a never-ending thing that you're going to have to work on and practice. Because if you just put it on the shelf and then you live that comfortable life again, it becomes that much harder to try to get back into the routine and become a resilient person. So as I go through this, I just want you to keep that in mind, that we're really looking to practice this and build this into our daily lives. So I see we got a couple questions down there. So while I'm sharing the screen, I see a question about how long they're going to be planned for each one of these sessions. Elise, I don't know if you want to answer that question real quick.
Yep. And I'll answer it in the chat. Jace, you just keep going.
Okay.
And any questions that they have, we'll save for VIP.
Okay.
So guys, any questions that you have, just put in Q&A and we'll do it after, because I don't want to distract Jace. He's on a roll. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you, everybody. So ask your questions and I will siphon them to make sure I get them asked to you. Okay, Jace?
That sounds great. I appreciate it. Just want to get that knocked out. Okay. So this is one of my favorite quotes that I have. And it's something that I think resonates true today. It's hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And it's a cyclical pattern. And I think if you look at everything from post-depression, World War II era, where we were at with the reintegration of men into society after World War II, and how they had a sense of purpose and how they were, the strong men that we look to, the greatest generation, and until now. And I think what's ended up happening over generations is we've gotten it better and we've improved lives around us. Technology's been better. Everything's been better around us, and it's allowed us to live life more comfortably. And by doing that, we've kind of regressed with how we approach life and how we attack life and how we attack our goals and how we build resilience through our day-to-day efforts. So I think this is just a quote that I turn to on a normal basis for me to say, do I want to be the weak man that creates the hard times for my family, for my loved ones, for my community? Or do I want to be the strong man that creates the good times for my family, specifically my daughter? In this case, I'm a dad to a daughter. I'm her example. I want to lead by example, and I want to make sure that she's building the resilient mindset as well as we go through this life. So, and that kind of leads me to the overall question that I have for everybody here when you look in from a retrospective and you kind of look at it from a, am I the kind of guy, the kind of man that when times are hard, when shit hits the fan, am I the type of man that my daughter looks at me and says, I don't know, daddy's going to be there for me. I don't know if daddy's going to be that guy. Or you're the type of man that your wife or your loved one, your partner turns to and says, I don't know, is he going to run when times get hard? Is he going to leave me? Is he, those kind of questions. Are you the type of man that your coworkers look at and say, if things get hard, he's going to quit on us, and his burdens are going to become our burdens. So are you that type of person? Or are you the type of man that when shit gets hard, your daughter looks at you and says, I'm good, daddy's got me? Your wife, your loved one turns and says, I'm fine in this life because I got him next to me, and he's going to guide me, help me, be my biggest supporter. He's going to get me through this because he's got that resilient mindset. So that's what I really want to challenge you to take a look at yourself and really say, look, have that mirror moment that I'll talk about later and say, which type of man am I right now? And where do I want to be? So again, I'll go through the 5 pillars here from what I think is important in building that. But those are the questions I kind of ask myself on a day-to-day basis on, you know, am I that type of man that everyone around me can count on when times are hard? Or am I the type that people shy away from because they don't know if they can count on me, if I'm not committed enough, if I'm not dependable enough to be there during the hard times? So, all right. So the 5 pillars, the 5 topics that I'll cover, and I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you, as any good speechwriter will say. So the 5 are purpose. We'll talk about having a sense of purpose in your life and why that's one of the primary drivers. Your mirror moment, what I was just kind of talking about. What do you see when you look at yourself in the mirror? Quality relationships. Relationships are everything. Who you surround yourself with and who you talk to on a day-to-day basis tends to be who you end up becoming in life and who you end up mirroring. Building momentum in your life and how we can achieve that. And then what I call visiting the pain cave. It doesn't have to necessarily be painful as in like a physical pain, but what are things that you view as difficult that you've shied away from that we need to start attacking, going after, making it happen? So the first topic is purpose. So the kind of quote I have here is, stop wandering through life as a walking generality. We have to stop moving through this life aimlessly, not knowing who we are, what we want to accomplish, who we're doing it for, all those kind of different things. You need a mission statement, a vision statement in your life. What do you want to become? And so normally what I ask here is, hey, think back on a time when times were difficult, when you were experiencing hardship and you got through it, you fought through it. What was the thing that you turned to give you that motivation to get through it? And 9 times out of 10, that's your motive. That's your purpose in life. It's your child, your loved one, your family member. It's the people you're servicing in the community, trying to make their lives better. It's the product you're bringing to the world to try to make it a better place. It's all those kind of different things. And we have to get away from the sense of purpose being, well, I just want to make more money. Well, okay, that's not a great purpose. I mean, you can start playing the 5-year-old game of, well, why do you want to make more money? Well, why do you want to, do these very superficial type things, instead of saying having and finding a deeper purpose, because that's really what's going to drive you through the hard times in life, is having something that you have to look at and say, I cannot fail this because of this person, this commitment that I have to my mission in my life, this commitment that I have to my family, this commitment that I have to the company that I'm trying to build, those kind of things. That's where you're going to find your purpose. And you have to be able to find that first. You have to find your why you're going to do everything as you're progressing through this journey of building that resilience. Because if you don't have a why, if you don't have a good purpose, it's going to be very easy to just say, I quit. If I'm just doing it for me and I'm not doing it for anything, a bigger, higher calling, it's just going to be that much easier for you to turn around and say, it's not worth it for me. So that's the primary reason why purpose is number one, because I feel like for me, I have a strong sense of purpose. It's definitely to be a good father to my daughter. It's to show her how to live a strong, resilient life, how to be a strong woman, how a man should treat a woman, how a man should love a woman, those kind of different things. I'm that example for her. And one of the things that, when I talk about things that I've done to be an example for her, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro a couple of years ago. And when I came back from Kilimanjaro, I came down from that. One of the first things my daughter asked me was, I want to climb a mountain. Where can we climb a mountain? And a couple months later, I should say, we climbed just a small mountain here in the state of Virginia. We hiked up the Old Rag Mountain, and the sense of accomplishment I saw on her face by doing something that was hard in her mind. I mean, it was her Mount Kilimanjaro. That gave me pride and helped me know that I was doing the right thing as a father and being that example. And by being my purpose and doing what I'm doing, it's ultimately rolling and funneling down to her. And that's just an example from my life. I mean, you just really think, what are some things in your life that you're trying to get through and that you're doing, and what's the purpose for you doing those things? So that's purpose. Moving on. And so this one is near and dear to my heart. It's the mirror moment. So the person you are right now, the person that, if you go to the bathroom mirror right now and look at yourself, that person is not going to be the person to get you where you want to go the next day and the next day and the next day. That person has to change and adapt and continue to grow to get you to where you ultimately want to be in life. We have to have that mindset that we refuse to settle, that we refuse to say, well, this is it. This is where I feel comfortable in my life right now. This is where I want to live it. If you want to be that, great, that's on you. But I know many of you, by just being here on this telephone, on this call right now, don't have that mindset. You want the growth mindset. You want to figure out, how can I make my life better? And the only way you can do that is to continuously look yourself in the mirror every day and say, I want to better who I was yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, and continue to grow. So some of the ways you have to do that, one is accountability. It's what a lot of men, in my opinion, a lot of people nowadays can't necessarily do well. They can't take that look at themselves and say, I'm the reason why this failed, or I'm the reason why, this mistake happened. It's the accountability mirror. It's one of those things where it's much easier to say, well, I'm not where I want to be because of that person, or I'm not where I want to be because my boss doesn't like me, or I'm not where I want to be in my relationship because she can't communicate well, or he can't communicate well. It's so easy to lay blame. It's much harder to turn and face inward and say, you know what, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I need to take a better look at what I'm doing and could be bettering myself on. And so the accountability mirror is huge. Look at yourself in a very raw way and look at yourself honestly. It's your own self-image that you have to take a look back at every day. And if you're lying to yourself, it's not going to go well. Assess your personal strengths and weaknesses. I think that's something that we tend to rely on our strengths and we try to avoid our weaknesses at all costs. And that's not going to help you build that resilient life. Honestly, definitely continue to work on your strengths. You identify those things, continue to work on them, continue to grow on them. Those are the things that are going to be your core strengths for moving forward and what you want to do in your life, honestly, because those are the things you do very well. But we also have to look at our weaknesses and say, how do I either better those weaknesses myself? How do I learn more about those weaknesses? How do I grow those weaknesses into maybe strengths? Or, hey, maybe that weakness is it's not something that I'm ready to tackle. I'm not willing to tackle. I just know it's something that's not in my wheelhouse. Maybe I need to find help. Maybe I need to find somebody to help me with that weakness. And that could be, just very something simple as like in a business. Hey, if your core strengths are sales and the business development piece and running day-to-day operations, but you don't do, the human resources well, you hire a human resources person. It's the same thing with your life. As you move through it, if you have those strengths that you're identifying, grow those things, keep those things going, but also try to grow your weaknesses into strengths or find people around you that can help make those weaknesses just overarching, ways to mitigate those weaknesses, I guess. Perception and perspective. So today's world is fun because you have social media, and social media makes everybody perceive themselves in certain ways. And those perceptions ultimately have an impact on your perspective on the world. the way you perceive yourself and the way you perceive the world around you is the way you're going to is going to impact your perspective on what you think you should be doing moving forward, what you think, how you think you should act, how you think you should look, how you just a multitude of things that's going to affect your and impact your perspective on who you think you should be. When in all actuality, if you just have a good perception on who you are as an individual, and you have that, I guess the best way to put it is you don't see yourself through the eyes of the world, and you don't see yourself through the eyes of social media, and you're not trying to make other people happy, and you're just trying to make yourself happy and do the things that make you happy. That changes your perspective on how you should continuously approach the world, not what Billy Bob's doing. Because what I could very easily be doing, just as an example, is I'm in the world of ultra running. I climb mountains. I do these kind of things. I could sit here and try to be like David Goggins, but I'm not David Goggins. But if I sit there and try to be him, then I'm eliminating, who I am as an individual and the way I approach what I want to do in the world and my overall perspective on the world, because I'm trying to be like someone else. So stop being like someone else, be yourself. And then two things that come up when you hear about resilience that normally people don't really think about. Normally when you think about resilience, you think about staying hard and overcoming obstacles and tackling things and just being aggressive and getting through life and those kind of things. What you don't think about is being vulnerable, being self-compassionate. I mean, when you think about it, if you can open up and be vulnerable to the world, that's a strength. That's something that's going to help you be resilient. If you can do, and I mentioned David Goggins earlier, and I talked to Elise about this beforehand. David Goggins is also the most vulnerable human being you could probably ever meet, because he has laid everything out there. He's written books about it. He's talked about it on a podcast. He said, I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I was 300 pounds. I was all these different things that he owned, and he was his vulnerability to talk about those things and be open about those things has changed other people's lives. And if you can be vulnerable about those things in your own life and talk to people about it and be open about it, there's nothing to hide anymore. There's nothing to hold you back from being the person you want to be. You don't have to sit there and say, well, I want to hide this little bit of me and like keep that way over here because I don't want people knowing about that, because that's pieces of me that I'm not proud of. But you know what? If you can own it and be vulnerable about it and talk to people about it and grow from it, that ultimately will help you drive forward and being resilient. And then self-compassion. We're all going to fail. We're all in this journey. We're going to have failures. We're going to do things that we wish we hadn't. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have, regrets in some cases. You have to be able to take that look at yourself and say, you know what? I did my best in certain situations. Maybe I didn't do my best in others, but I'm here for myself, and I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to be a better person. I'm going to continue to try in my life. And that self-compassion, that ability to not beat yourself down when times get hard, or beat yourself down when you make a mistake, is going to help you grow and continue moving forward instead of quitting. Because if all we do is when we fail is we beat ourselves up about that failure and continue to beat ourselves up about things that we did wrong in the past, we're never going to escape that. We're never going to grow and end up changing ourselves and becoming better people from it. We're just going to stay in that moment in our lives forever because we made that mistake, or we had that big failure, or whatever you did in your life that weighs on you. If you continue to let that weigh on you, that weight is keeping you in place for the rest of your life. So those are the things that I kind of look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, am I being accountable? Am I doing the things that I need to do to live the life I want to lead? And am I being truthful with myself? Am I assessing my strengths? Am I trying to mitigate my weaknesses? Am I trying to grow my weaknesses? What's my perception of myself amongst amongst my own, when I look at myself in the mirror, and then amongst the people that are following me on social media, and the way people think I should act, and the way people think I should talk, and those kind of things. And then I'm vulnerable. I'm going to tell you, I'll be very blunt and tell you everything that's ever happened in my life, because I feel like that level of vulnerability, if I can talk about it and I can be open about it, I'll never have to hide it, and it'll never hold me back. And then ultimately it draws people to you in a way that helps you. And then self-compassion. Don't let the mistakes weigh you down. Don't let those past failures keep you from moving forward and having future successes. So moving on to the next one is quality relationships. And the term here, proximity is power. Who you hold close to you and who you have around you, that's powerful. Those are the people that are going to impact you the most. It's your family members, your loved ones, your friends, your coworkers, those kind of people. So the first thing I ask everyone to do is do an inventory. Who are the people you hang out with the most? Who are the people that you surround yourself with the most? Who are the people that you reach out to when you need advice? Who are those people that you hold close to you and that you do things with? And then, hey, at some point you got to cut sling load with people, and you got to cut away the negative relationships. You got to cut away the people that want to hold you back in certain cases, that instead of improving yourself and saying, hey, I'm going to go to the gym on Saturday morning, or I'm going to go to the gym on Friday morning, or whatever it's going to be, they're trying to pull you down to the bar and say, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go to the gym? Why would you want to do that race? Why would you want to start a business? It's those kind of relationships that are going to hold you back in life. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to sit there and look at a friend that you've had for years and say, you know what, it's time to maybe not necessarily cut them off completely, but I got to move on from them in a way that allows me to continue to grow. Because, and the way you have to view it is, hey, look, it's not that you're cutting them away. It's that they can't keep up. They can no longer keep up with the person you're becoming and the person that you want to be in your life. And if they can't keep up, sorry. If they can, then yeah, let's grow together. But in most cases, those negative relationships will continue to be negative relationships until they do the self-work themselves. And then find people that are in a position that you want to be in. These can be mentors. In most cases, they can be people that you see and follow on social media that are in positions that you want to be in, that you should just follow. Stop following the Instagram models or people that you're just there scrolling through. Follow the people that are going to give you good information, and the people that are out there really truly trying to help. People like Elise. So people that really want to help you grow as a person, and then follow those people, and then reach out to people. I was very open about reaching out to people that I saw in positions that I wanted to be in, that were doing things that I wanted to do and achieve in my life. And I would just basically cold call them. I'd slide into the DMs and say, hey, one of the guys that's become a really good friend of mine is Jesse Itzler, and he's part owner of the Atlanta Hawks, and a lot of people have known him from some of the books that he's written, Living with a SEAL, where he lived with David Goggins, living with monks. But I was doing an event where I was doing a 36-hour run, wearing a 20-pound tactical vest, and I was trying to achieve 100 miles, and reached out to him cold, trying to get some support for that because I was doing it as a fundraiser. And he came back, slid back into my DMs and said, hey, this is awesome. I want to support any way I can. And now we have a relationship. And I look forward to chatting with him because he's such in a different place than I am in life. He values what I do and the ultra events and things like that. But I'm also learning from him because he's done so much in business and owning the Atlanta Hawks and doing different things in the world. And the things I pick up from him have helped me grow in my own life. So please reach out, find people that are in different positions that you want to be in your life, and learn from them and grow from them. And then finally, any good relationship, at the bedrock of it is communication. Communicate. So if it's your loved one, your spouse, and you're trying to make this change in your life, and you're saying, hey, look, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be a better husband. I'm trying to be a better father. What can I be doing to help you? And then listen. A lot of times we say we're communicating, but all we're really doing is talking. So it's the ability to say your piece and then receive. You got to be in receive mode. A lot of us do a really bad job at the receive part. We sit there and we'll talk and we'll provide our own thoughts and insights on things. And then we forget to listen to what's coming back to us and then apply what's coming back to us. So it's that ability to talk, then to listen, and then apply. And then sometimes in this world, all people want you to do is be there to listen. You don't have to sit there and try to be the person to solve all their problems. You just have to be the person to sit there and listen to what is going on in their life and listen to what they have to tell you, and then just be there and agree, with them in some cases, or just be their shoulder. But communication is everything, and that ability to communicate with the people that are closest around you, and then tell them what you're looking to do, what you're looking to achieve, how you can be better for them. And then in some cases, and in a lot of cases for the negative relationships, it's, hey, this is how I need you to be a better friend, a better person for me, in order for me to be and the person I want to be and move forward with my life. So communicate and communicate and communicate. So that's the things that I think make up quality relationships. And again, those quality relationships, having that as a bedrock and those people surrounding you when times get hard, when things are difficult and you need help, you have that core group around you that's going to help you get through it. They're going to be supportive. They're going to be the people that are going to talk you up and say, hey, you got this. You can do this. I'm going to help you do this. What do you need from me? Those are the type of people you want in your life, not the people that are saying, well, why do you want to do that? So the next is build momentum. Who are you when motivation dies? So a lot of us go online, we get on Spotify, we get on YouTube, and we listen to these motivational speeches. We listen to David Goggins, we listen to Tony Robbins, we listen to all these different, E.T. the hip hop preacher. We listen to these guys and we get motivated. We're ready to go. We're starting to set goals, listening to them. We want to go run races. We're going to run through a wall. Let's go. An hour later, that motivation's gone. Who are you when that motivation is gone? Do you just default back to, well, I had some good thoughts, but this couch is looking really good now. And the way I view to eliminate that when the motivation dies is you have to build healthy habits. You have to build consistency in your life. So first things first, stop procrastinating. Stop sitting there saying, well, when the time is right, when I get this degree, or when I get this specific certification, or when I've trained this much, when I've done enough over a year in the gym, then I'll try to do this. Stop procrastinating. Put it on the calendar. Just do it. That was a Nike thing, I know, but just put it on the calendar, make it a goal, and start executing towards it. Because a lot of us will procrastinate forever and ever and ever, and never start the path to where we ultimately want to go, whether it's starting the business, winning the race, doing the 5K, whatever it is you want to do. Like, stop procrastinating today. Plan it, put it on the calendar, start working towards it. Then as you're working towards it, build those healthy habits and routines. The thing that happens most when obstacles get in our way is we don't have healthy habits or routines to fall back on. So when we run into an obstacle, we default to lazy, we default to bad habits, we default to overeating, we default to alcohol, we default to drugs, we default to all these things that are just unhealthy in our lives. But if we can build healthy habits and routines, if we can build these things over time, when you run into these obstacles, you don't default to the wrong. You default back to your healthy habits and routines. You default back to what you know, instead of defaulting back to, well, what's going to provide me with comfort in this moment of this obstacle that I'm facing? So build and find those healthy habits and routines. And if you have children, this is huge, because as a father myself, routines are everything. If my daughter gets out of her routine, the day is over. So if you're a parent, you get this. But just for all of us as individuals, we need to build those healthy habits and routines into our own lives. Then consistency. Again, do those things that are going to make you better consistently over time. Now we're all gonna have bad days. We're all gonna have those days where we don't want to do things. I get it. We're gonna have days where, okay, the diet, let's just have fun for the birthday party, those kind of things. Those happen, but let's build consistency in our lives. Like let's be that person that can be counted upon and is consistent with what we are going to do and what we say we are going to do. So when I make a promise to somebody, or I put a race on a calendar, that's my commitment. And I want to build consistency into my schedule to build towards that and to make sure that I'm achieving the things I need to do to get there. And that brings me to the small wins portion of this whole thing. So a lot of our self-confidence, and that's the final bullet, is driven off of the things we've accomplished in our lives. And if we wait for just large, big things to happen in our lives to claim the wins and gain self-confidence, 9 times out of 10 we don't have much self-confidence, because if we wait until that moment to climb a mountain or run the race or things like that, it's all reliant on that one single event. And then if we fail at that event, our self-confidence is shot. But if we can build small wins into our calendar as we build towards the things we want to do in our life, and we can achieve those things and mark them off the box, that's building your self-confidence as you grow towards that thing. So for me, for instance, as I'm training for a 100-mile run, I want to be able to achieve, 50 miles one week, 70 miles next week, do a 30-mile training run, do these kind of things. And as I clip those things off the checklist, that's building my confidence towards that 100-mile goal race. By the time I get to that race, I've done so much little wins, just the small wins to get to that I feel very confident that I can get the big win. So that's the things that you want to build into your life. And because if you're looking to lose 50 pounds, if you look at it from that perspective, and then the first week you only lose 2, the next week you lose 1, your self-confidence starts to get shot. But if you say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and the first week I want to lose 2, the second week I want to lose 1, and by the time I get to the 25th week, I've lost 50 pounds, you don't view it as a failure anymore. You view it as I'm hitting my small wins to get to my big win. So those are kind of the things that you want to build as you're, again, continuing to grow and continuing to build that momentum towards being a resilient person, being a resilient man. Because again, procrastination is going to default you to lazy. Anytime you don't have healthy habits or routines, anytime you do meet an obstacle, you're going to revert back to unhealthy things to help you cope with those obstacles. And then the consistency, the small wins, and the self-confidence to get there ultimately helps you understand that when I am up against an obstacle, I have the confidence to overcome that. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about what I call the pain cave. And again, I want to go back to resilience is something we can practice. This is something that we have to work at on a daily basis, and that we can institute different things into our lives to try to grow and test our resilience, to make sure that we are the resilient man we say we are. And so visiting the pain cave for me is I'm doing something that scares me, doing something that is something that I can view as actually failing at. And so for many of you, you might have heard of what's called a misogi. Again, my mentor, Jesse Itzler, talks about it in his book, and he's talked about it to me on several occasions. But a misogi is something you do one time a year that you have a 50-50 shot at failing at. And it's something that you can't die at. So don't incorporate that into it, but it's a 50-50 shot you can fail at. And then it's something that you're going to plan one time a year, put it on your calendar, and then execute it. And then whether you fail or you overcome it, you learn from it and you grow from it until the next year where you plan your next year's misogi. So over the last couple of years, my misogis have been, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in 2021, I believe it was. Last year in 2022, I ran 150 miles in 48 hours on a treadmill by myself. And then this year, my Misogi is I'm attempting to break a world record for a tire flip, a 220-pound tire flip in 24 hours. I'm trying to flip it for, I think, 12K. So I've been working those into my schedule, and every year I learn something about myself in those events, and I grow from those events. And then I apply that to my life, those lessons. And then the next year I want to schedule something else. And so you don't have to do those specific things, obviously, but I want you to think about those kind of Misogi type things that you could put into your life and say, hey, this year I want to achieve this big thing that I've always put off. I know I could fail at, but let's just give it a try. Whether it's, you could do Goggins' 4x4x48 challenge, you could do the 75 hard, you could do different things this year to try to incorporate it into your life and either fail from it and learn from it, or you succeed from it and you're still going to get lessons from those events. So choose something that scares you and put it on your calendar. And it has to align with your vision. Ultimately, we all have, again, it's going back to your purpose. The things that I do, the events I've done and my Misogis and my big things that I've done every year are all fundraisers to raise funds for mental health awareness for veterans. I'm a veteran myself. I was serving in the military for 7 years. As Elise mentioned earlier, I suffered from PTSD, depression, anxiety when I got out. I came out of the military with 2 failed marriages. I had a 2-year-old daughter that at the time when I split from her mother, I didn't know if I was going to be able to be a father. I didn't know if I was a good enough man to be a dad. I didn't know if I was going to be able to be there for her. There was a moment during that time where I remember sitting in a hotel room wondering if I should just take my own life. And those things, fortunately, I was able to recover from them. And now I look back and say, how can I help men that are like me, veterans that are like me, that were in that situation, that are in that situation now, grow and recover? And so that's my vision. One of my big purposes in my life is to help those that were once, that are now in the situation that I once was, that that are looking at, maybe, they can't be a father, they're failing at their relationships, they're dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, mental health issues, all these different things. And I'm here to say you can get through it. And by doing these kind of things and leading this resilient life that's got me to this point that I am, I just hope that I can be an example for others. And so that's why I say that what you choose to do that's hard, that scares you, make sure it aligns with your vision. Because if it aligns with your vision and it aligns with that purpose in your life, you're going to be much more likely to do it and to try to push through it. And then decide and do. Stop over evaluating. I think I talked about it in last when I talked about procrastination. We got to stop getting to the point where we're over evaluating things and saying, well, I'm not ready because I'm not able to do this. I wish I could be able to do this better. I need to read more about this. All these different things we give ourselves excuses over instead of just deciding and doing it. And then, yeah, we got to do some level of evaluation, but stop over evaluating. Stop talking yourself out of the things you want to do in your life, and stop making yourself the obstacle and trying to overcome yourself. Get rid of that obstacle and just go execute. Have a healthy relationship with failure. I think a lot of us are afraid of failure. We're afraid to do the things that we really want to do in our lives because we're afraid of failing. We're afraid of the shot that's going to take to our self-confidence. And we're afraid of ultimately how that's going to be viewed, that perception of others, how people are going to perceive us. Oh my gosh, look at it. Even me today, like I've failed multiple times at 100-mile runs, but I've achieved some other crazy things. But I failed that 100-mile run, and people are like, oh, look, he can't do it. He's a failure. You got to have that healthy relationship to say, I'm not a failure. Because I have failed at this one task, at this one event, at this one thing, I am not a failure. I am a person that tried. I am a person that put it all on the line to attempt something that scared me, that was bigger than myself, that I really wanted to achieve in my life. And I happened to have a setback. And that's the way I view failure. Failure isn't the end. It's just a step. It's a step back, and you grow from that failure. You got to have that growth mindset. You got to learn from it and then continue to drive forward. Don't let it be the failure that makes you completely quit. I mean, when you look at history, most of the people that have been very successful in life have failed dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So don't let that failure become the end of what you want to achieve in your life, and have that healthy relationship with it. And then come back for more. I think when I complete events and complete the things that I do, and I'm already thinking about what's next. I'm already starting to, even before I finish the training for the 100-miler, I'm already thinking about the next big thing I want to do, because I want to get that on the calendar. So continue to think about the things you want to continue to gain that momentum on. And so again, with the pain cave thing, with the Misogi kind of mindset, don't do it once. Don't run a marathon that one time and hang your hat on it and say, man, that was really good. I've achieved that marathon. Now I can just live my life on the couch. It's not that simple. Like I said, you have to continuously be growing your resilient mindset. You have to continuously be working at it, practicing it, making sure that you're up to date with the different things that in your life that you want around you that are going to help you build that mindset, and then ultimately achieve the things you want to achieve in your life. And so again, to just kind of recap, I think we have to really take a good hard look at ourselves and see who we really are, where we're at currently in our lives. We have to find that sense of purpose. We have to take a good inventory of who's around us and who we're allowing around us in our lives, and who we're allowing to influence us in our lives. We have to visit the pain cave, like I mentioned. We have to figure out kind of the building of a momentum, and then the mirror moment. Again, taking a look at yourself and seeing who you are and where you want to go. So yeah, I know that was a long talk, but that's kind of all I've got, Elise, for the group. Just talking to them. Now we can, I guess, move on to the next part of this whole thing.
Wow. Everybody give it up for Jason. I know you guys can't clap, but I'm clapping for you. That was amazing. You absolutely gave so much value here. Every single one of those slides was like masterclass. I was like, my brain is so full right now. I know these guys are loving it. Look at all the love in the chat. So like we said, guys, this is technically the end of the Year of the Man Summit first night, except for those in VIP. Stay behind. We have a few questions we're going to ask Jason. If you have any more questions, ask in VIP. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys so much for coming. I hope to see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. EST, where John LeBrun is going to be talking to dads, how to be the best dad. Jason, this was a freaking amazing talk. I'm so proud to call you my friend, and I'm so grateful that you came and spoke today for all these men and for the work that you're doing. So I'm going to pause the recording, guys, and just give a couple minutes for people to filter out, and then we'll come back to VIP.